Good evening, everybody. Um, this might be the first time we've done Feedback Friday on a Friday night. It is not plan A, um, but I knew full well that there was like no chance I was going to get up at like 3 or 4 this morning and do this and be on a plane at 5 on time. So, doing what I can. Um, yeah, I started out today in North Dakota um, at 5 a.m. and flew and hung out in Minneapolis for a few hours and then finally made it back to North Carolina and then drove my daughter back from a road trip that she was on. So it's been a whole adventure and trying to kind of get my bearings for everything. But yeah, hope y'all are doing well. I'm gonna try and be uh on top of everything and get through this quickly because I do still. Good evening, Tristan slash good morning for you. Um, I'm gonna try and be moderately punctual with this because it's been a long day and I need to sleep and mow my yard and my best friend is moving to Texas and all the things are happening. So and I leave for a another week long camp Sunday to go to um, Mentone, Alabama to do a week long camp there. So all the things all over the places. Yeah, it's morning there. I figured. I just trying to remember 12 hours ahead, 12 hours ahead. So it's 12 hours. It's Saturday morning for you. But yeah, we're here. Let's do this. Yeah, jump right in on our news. Hey, Miss Sherry. But yeah, normally this would be early in the morning, but after all this travel, this is the best I could do. Um, Starting off with music news, Teddy Swims, the vocalist, has now set a milestone for music. He has the longest uh, time being on the Billboard Hot 100 of any artist of all time. His song "Lose Control" was in the top 10 for a record-breaking 63 weeks. That's a big deal, and it also makes me feel like a failure as a DJ because I've never heard that song, or at least I don't think I've heard that song. And I spend so much time working with music that I don't listen to everything everybody thinks I do. So I probably don't know that song. Um, yeah, I'm gonna skip that one because that's not fun. Mount Etna erupted this week, Europe's tallest volcano, tallest active volcano erupted, and it was chaos because it was also surrounded by hikers when it erupted, and lots of people were seen fleeing for their lives, or at least fleeing for their hopeful lives, because I don't know how many people are actually that close to danger. But yeah, it was chaos. In the ongoing legal battle between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, Blake Lively has attempted to withdraw her claims of intentional infliction of emotional distress and negligent intention or infliction of emotional distress. Not that she's withdrawing all of her claims against Justin Baldoni, but she's withdrawing the fact that he intentionally and unintentionally inflicted emotional damage. And part of that came with the fact that to prove that, she would have to submit her medical records showing like a therapeutic trail for that. And she didn't want her medical records to be public viewed or knowledge. And, that kind of sparked down from there. A pet zebra in Tennessee got on the loose this week and it escaped from someone's home and started causing chaos as it ran down the interstate. If you were to tell me anywhere in America is going to have a zebra running down the interstate, My money's on Florida, but Tennessee would be a close second. But that did happen. Um, the war between Ukraine and Russia has been heavy this week. It started out early last week with Ukraine uh, executing one of the most strategic military strikes of all time. And researchers are saying, or historians are saying, that this will go down in history as one of the most well executed. Yeah, Yesenia, there was a pet zebra, so don't set your expectations too low. You can always have a zebra. Um, but Ukraine sent a fleet of drones inside containers for what would be like shelters and mobile homes and like portable housing, and flew the drones out of the containers and bombed the bombing aircraft in Russia, and the containers even were set to self-destruct afterwards. And it's considered one of the most successful and best executed military tactics of like history. Um, They also followed it up throughout the week with bombing a strategic bridge. That was a big deal. So there's been a lot going on in the war. Jordan, yeah, thank you. And I appreciate it, man. And I think Christine had a birthday, so happy birthday to her as well. And happy late birthday to you too. I think I told you that last week, but happy birthday to Christine too. But yeah, big chaos with war, but when is ever war peaceful? But yeah, the whole thing in shipping containers was a lot. And Ukraine also launched a underwater attack on a bridge that's essential to the structure and supply line of Russia. So a lot of stuff going on there. Andre 3000 surprised Atlanta neighborhoods this past week as he started showing up at random neighborhoods in Atlanta and putting on mini concerts. I'm just saying, if Andre 3000 showed up on my block, I'd listen to him play the flute or piano or whatever he's doing. Just because Andre 3000, if he wants to show up in my neighborhood, he will have my attention. But that's a really cool moment, especially for ATLians who, that's part of their culture. So kudos to that. Um, the Jets' new head coach, Aaron Glenn, has officially instituted Bible study as part of the team program. And players have already posted the Bible study notes on Instagram, and you can see the worksheets that they're filling out for their Bible study as part of the New York Jets training program. So, you know, that's cool. Uh, I know it's, not something that should be forced on people, but as long as they're down with it, I think that's a awesome thing for building the team together. Um, Legendary voice actor and actor Keith David, known from Dr. Facilier and Princess and the Frog and Community and uh, being scary in a million other movies. He also took over um, the voice of Lance. Oh, what's his name? Lance that passed away from John Wick. He took over that role in the Destiny game series. But Keith David is touring, doing evenings of jazz. And if you are remotely local to my area, he will be performing in Pembroke, North Carolina at UNC Pembroke on September 13th at UNCP. So if you'd like to hear legendary voice actor and actor Keith David lead a night of jazz, now you have the opportunity. I'm hitting next on my computer screen like it's gonna take me to my next slide because I'm not that technically gifted here. Um, Dr. Dre was at the opening and premiere of a new high school in Compton. Compton High has a brand new $200 million campus. where Dr. Dre personally contributed $10 million to it. And he also brought the Dr. Dre Young Performing Arts Center to life. There's a giant mural of Dr. Dre on the outside of it. Um, the art center comes with a top tier recording studio, and is there. He says he wants to invest in the artistic talent of Compton and those kids who come up in it. If you're also local to Fayetteville or North Carolina in general, there was a proposed Crown Event Center that was going to be going in downtown Fayetteville. It was going to be part of Fayetteville's expansion on its arts and events and community without the region, and that has officially been canceled. In a governmental shift, they voted down this proposed plan, and they've already spent millions of dollars on this project that will now be lost to oversight and will not be recuperated. Phineas and Ferb are officially back. The new season started this week. If you've got Disney XD, you'll be able to check it out, but it will also be coming to Disney Plus. Tim Allen of Shifting Gears and uh, the Santa Claus and Toy Story, you know who Tim Allen is. Tim Allen is currently reading through the Bible for the first time. And he is currently in Romans and he is loving Paul. He thinks Paul's kind of a gangster and he's really loving reading Romans, which Romans is kind of a baller book. But Tim Allen is enjoying reading Romans. Vanessa Kirby, who plays Sue Storm in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, as well as playing the Queen's sister in the show The Crown, is pregnant and she's displaying that she is pregnant for the first time with this. Eminem's previous recording company, not Eminem, because I've seen a lot of news outlets falsely reporting this. Not that I'm a real journalist, but roll with me here. Eminem's publisher, from when 8 Mile Style, which was the company behind Eminem's music from 1995 until 2005, is taking Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp to court over illegal use of more than 243 of his songs for copyright infringements, and the lawsuit looks to get 150,000 per song on the platform, totaling $109 million. Again, this is not Eminem's suit. This is his old studio, but they do have rights to his music, so they're suing. Uh, if you're one of the people that likes Snow White or the recent iteration, or you're just curious to watch it and didn't want to pay money, it'll be on Disney Plus next week, June 11th. Mhm. The internet's kind of been crazy. Well, it's always crazy, but the internet's kind of been crazy with the reveal of the new Marvel character, Kedema, um, who is the son of Black Panther in the comic books, in an alternate version, different universe in the Marvel Knights storyline, which is written by comics legend Joe Quesada with art by Christopher Priest. The controversial portion of this is that T'Challa's son, Kedema, is Caucasian in appearance. And so, by factor, they're declaring that there is a Caucasian Black Panther, and the internet's being the internet. Based on the storyline, he does not actually become Black Panther, but he tries and fails. But it's not the best look. Today, Ren Collective dropped their full folk album. They had done part one, they had done part two, and now the album is out with extra songs. So if you're a fan of Ren Collective, this album personally for me is maybe one of their best. It at least has 3 or 4 singles on it that are fully worth the price of admission. Fight of My Life is literally in my top 2 songs right now. Also, Burn, that's on there, is great and better than I ever thought. I highly recommend all of these. So if you have not picked up Rand Collective's album, you should go ahead and do that, or you can stream it like other people do. Bloomhouse, which is a production studio, if you're not aware, has acquired or is in the process of acquiring the rights to the Saw franchise. Previously, Lionsgate was the primary holder of the Saw franchise, and now it's going to transfer over to Bloomhouse in partnership with Lionsgate. Currently, Saw 12 is on hold as they are trying to figure out where it's going. They started the process and have since halted it. And Harry Potter and Broadway news, Tom Felton, who portrayed Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter film franchise, uh, is returning to the role of Draco Malfoy on Broadway. If you're not aware, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is a Broadway production that takes place 19 years after the Harry Potter movies end, or roughly somewhere in that capacity. And it features the children of the main characters of the original series, as well as the main characters as older adults. So Tom Felton is literally able to walk right back into this role and be age appropriate for where he is. He said that when they dyed his hair blonde, and he looked at himself in the mirror. He automatically started crying because it was a release and like a wave of being rushed back into his childhood. He will begin his run for on November 11th for a limited 19-week engagement. So if you would like to see Draco Malfoy in the role of Draco Malfoy, you've got 19 weeks starting November 11th, and you can sign up at harrypotterbroadway.com. Amazon is bringing a $10 billion high-tech facility to North Carolina near the area of Richmond, that county and region over there. This is an AI development facility. So yes, it will create up to 500 to 1,000 jobs, but it's also further developing AI and is going to be interesting in how that develops as well. But it's a $10 billion high-tech facility and it's coming to North Carolina. Um, there has been beef this week between Elon Musk and President Trump as they've been back and forth at each other over things with the big new bill. They've been throwing shade, um, and to the point where Elon Musk said that President Trump was in the Epstein files. And if what I saw was correctly, uh, Kelly, hey bro, good evening. The flights were good, dude. Flights were good. Uh, I'm gonna do a whole other podcast just reviewing the whole trip sometime soon, but I gotta do it this weekend because I leave on another trip on Sunday to go to Alabama to do a Bible camp there. Um, but yeah, but Trump and Musk are beefing, and while it is entertaining, it don't let that be a distraction from the fact that our world still needs work, and you should be praying for people. Okay, good talk. Um, yeah, you could see the tweets and the drama that's going on, but yeah. And I don't like pushing super negative things, especially when it shines negative light on the church. But let's be honest, we can suck sometimes, and negative stuff does need to be addressed because you can't just brush everything under the rug. Um, this week, allegations came out against Michael Tates, uh, former singer for DC Talk and former singer for the Newsboys. Allegations of assault, sexual assault, and drug abuse were brought up. Um, I don't know judge, jury, or anything like that. I'm not saying that he's guilty of these things, and I'm not pleading for his innocence. I'm just saying these are charges that are brought up. And more than anything, we should be praying for people that are part of this whole thing, from the Newsboys to the canceled concerts to the people that are involved in the allegations to Michael Tate too. So if you're of my age or somewhere in there, Michael Tate's been a part of your life for a long time, and you probably owe him some like alimony and child support or whatever those things are. If you're 35 plus and a believer, then Michael Tate probably had a good chunk in your life. So pray for pray for your homies. Don't prey on your homies. Pew pew. Um, yep. Let's see. AI systems are showing signs of resisting human control. Just over the past couple weeks, there have been multiple documented, like recorded instances. Tristan says, "Yeah, that wasn't on your bingo card this week." Well, dude, when they announced that he left the band abruptly and they canceled all the Canadian tour and the showrunner for the Canadian tour, the dude who was booking everything, wouldn't allow the tour to go forward without information on what was happening. I knew there was more, but I was really hoping it wasn't something of that nature. Um, and the allegations are much worse than just what I've said here, but I'm not trying to smear anybody or anything. But AI is fighting back. And in terms of pray for your homies, not on your homies, should be a sticker. Um, you know what, Jordan? You right. Where's the pencil? Not pencil. Okay, I'm gonna text this to myself right now because bet if I have the bandwidth, that'll be a sticker by the end of the night. Because I've got another sticker I was working on that I got sidetracked on. Um, so I'm gonna put this. And by the way, I don't know if anybody else is weird like this. I take notes by texting myself. Pray for your homies, not pray on your homies, or worded somewhere in there like that. Done. Note sticker. It's in my notes. Um, pray for your homies, not on your homies. Um, yeah, but that's where we need to be because if if things are bad enough for us to see news and talk about it, then things are good enough for us to be praying about. Um, for sure, for sure. Where were we in our notes? All right. One Piece is a Lego set that is based on the live action series. So if you're a fan of One Piece, there's a whole new Lego set for you to check out. Also, in the terms of One Piece, we saw our first look at Chopper at the Netflix Tadum thing, and the reaction has been somewhere between "Oh, that's beautiful" to um, "You," but it's not Ugly Sonic, y'all. And the voice actor is good, and I think we should be grateful for what we got. Okay, good talk. Silent Hill F will launch in September of 2025. If you're a fan of the Blues Brothers, the 4K Blu-ray is on sale for $12.99, um, which is 57% off the price. Halloween Horror Nights in in Universal Orlando Studios, will feature a whole Fallout section. So if you're a fan of Halloween horror, um, you'll get to see some Fallout. Wendy's is being weird and cryptic in announcing a partnership with Cheez-It coming on June 10th. I don't know what it's going to be. As long as it's not a Cheez-It Frosty, I'm down. I don't really eat at Wendy's anyway, but Wendy's and Cheez-Its are partnering together as of June 10th. Oh, a company called um, Born United um, is being sued by Buc-ee's as they have literally copy and pasted the Buc-ee's beaver in tactical armor gear and used it for their logo. So they're being sued by Buc-ee's. Jay-Z dropped a $1 million bet for the Thunder to win the NBA Finals and beat the Pacers in 5 games. So Jay-Z bet a whole $1 million that the Thunder will win the NBA Finals, beating the Pacers in 5 games. Imagine having $1 million just to be dropping on it. That's bananas. Um, the back and forth squabble between Trump and Musk has, of course, also drawn the attention of our news and entertainment people. Um, and Jimmy Fallon stated in his monologue that with the way uh, Elon was swinging on Trump, that even Kendrick Lamar would say, "Take it easy." Kelly says he can afford it. I'm sure he can, dude. Um, Samuel L. Jackson will be starring in a spin-off series of Tulsa King. If you're not aware of who Taylor Sheridan is, he's the dude making Dude TV. He's making Yellowstone and Tulsa King and uh, Land Land something Landman something like that. I don't know. Whatever the show about, you know, land. I know what it is. I know that there are cool people in it. But Samuel L. Jackson will be doing a spinoff of Tulsa King called Nola King, set in Louisiana. And Samuel L. Jackson will appear for several episodes of Tulsa King before spinning off his series Nola King. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Owen Wilson is trying to pick up the slack for Ted Lasso, and the time between before we get a season four. Apple TV has premiered a new series called Stick with Owen Wilson and Judy Greer, and is being hailed as Ted Lasso for golfers. I don't currently have an Apple subscription, but I will check it out when I do. It is looking like Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback for the Steelers, unless that's changed since I took my notes this morning. That's what we're looking for. Um, yeah, I don't know this dude, and I don't know anything he's acted in, but Rard Malika has been cast as Tommy Maximoff slash Speed in the Vision Quest series. If you watched WandaVision and House of Harkness or Agatha all along, um, then you saw that part of the plot was locating the missing son of Kelly says Sam Jackson and Cowboys on a plane. Yeah, that's it, dude. Cowboys on a plane. But this will be a third portion of the WandaVision story, and Vision Quest will feature a more young adult version or adult version of the missing Maximoff kid. Uh, a woman in Texas, 71 years old, was killed by a brain-eating amoeba after she flushed her sinuses with Texas campground water. And the CDC says that there's cases of these amoebas in the water in Texas, and you should be cautious. Um, Tom Cruise received a Guinness Book of World Records this week for doing 16 parachute jumps with his parachute on fire for the Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. So he literally jumped and then lit his parachute on fire 16 times. Uh, I hadn't planned, I'm not even caught up on Mission Impossible movies, but knowing that just makes me want to go see the movie just to say good job, buddy. Um, Diddy got in trouble in court this week for making faces at the jurors, and the judge condemned him in his actions because he was deliberately disobeying what the court said, and that he would make direct facial expressions at the jurors and nod at them and kind of like grunt at them. And so they told him, no, don't do that, obviously. Companies, specifically Lionsgate, are entertaining the idea of allowing AI to modify their movies to fit specifications. Um, they're stating that through a new program that they're looking at, called Runway, it will allow the studios to edit a film on the fly to fit standards. So they can have the movie automatically be made from R to PG-13 just by putting in specifications and letting AI do its work. Or if a scene is too violent, they can turn it from live action into animated. And it will only take about 3 hours to have the full movie edited. And this will allow people to have movie changes made to push it further to TV studios and things like that. Um, and they'll be able to make some films for half the price. It's gross. I don't like it. um, NFL player Jake McQuaid was escorted out of a church by police this week after demanding the archdiocese answer for a pornography scandal that was brought into question involving priests within the community. This took place in Ohio, and Jake literally just interrupted the mass to say, "We need answers for this." I'm not saying he's wrong. But yeah, he got escorted out by police. Not necessarily arrested, but escorted out. The USDA has issued a safety warning over ground beef nationwide for a possible E. coli contamination, so watch your ground beef. A woman was tossed out of court this week during P. Diddy's trial because she couldn't contain herself and started screaming at Diddy as things were being brought up that he was accused of. The Wheel of Time, which was canceled by Amazon Prime, has surpassed 123,000 signatures and has raised $16,000 in 12 days in an attempt to save the show from cancellation. These aren't numbers that are going to save it, but it is acknowledging that it matters to people. Warner Brothers is developing a live action Care Bears movie. It will be half live action, half animated slash CGI, but we're getting a 2025 edition of the Care Bears film. Some things that are coming out for us in June. Stick premiered on Apple TV this week. The Chosen Season 5 will hit Amazon Prime on June 15th. Gilded Age is returning to HBO Max on June 22nd. Ironheart hits on Disney Plus on the 24th. The Squid Games hits on June 27th. Ballerina is in theaters today. The Life of Chuck is in theaters this week on a small scale and broad next week. How to Train Your Dragon will drop on June 13th. 28 years later hits on June 20th, and F1 hits June 27th. Um, the original songwriters for the Wicked musical, the Broadway musical, have come in to write new songs for the second half of the Wicked film, Wicked for Good. They added two new songs, I believe, to the film. And this week, Bono has claimed that U.S. aid cuts have caused more than 300,000 deaths. A man had a terrorist attack at a pro-Israel rally in Colorado this week that he had been planning for more than a year, where he threw Molotov cocktails on a crowd at a pro-Israel rally. One of the people in the pro-Israel rally was a Holocaust survivor who was set on fire. Yeah. Also, on the terms of Israel, there are reports of Israel blocking Gaza citizens from getting food, and there's a lot back and forth there with that, and that's horrible. Scientists are really confused right now as South Africa appears to be rising out of the ocean. The water level and the ground elevation are shifting in a really weird pattern, and it's confusing to them. Yep. There is currently a Bitcoin and digital betting uh, platform going on if Jesus will return in 2025. And it already had over almost close to $1 million in the betting pool of predicting if Jesus will return in 2025. And so I feel like that's an unfair bet because if you're part of the church and you're betting that he won't return, you know, if he does, you're going to lose your money. But whatever. Um, 20,000 people were evacuated from the German city of Cologne after they found three unexploded World War II bombs. Imagine you're just chilling and you're like, hey, look, what's this? Oh, look, it's three bombs from World War II that haven't gone off yet. Where were these bombs? Indiana Jones has been looking for everything from World War II for the last, 80 years. And we just find three bombs from World War II that haven't exploded yet. That's bananas. The snack wrap is coming back to McDonald's on July 10th. Um, there is potentially a Dexter level serial killer roaming Texas, or at least near Texas, as 38 bodies have been found around a lake, a specific lake in a 3-year window. In Lake Bird in Austin, Texas. But they are like seriously considering there's a serial killer kind of circling that area and dumping those bodies there in a fashion much like the TV series Dexter. The man who did light the or throw the Molotov cocktails was charged with 180 or 118 counts of anti-Zionist terror. Rapper Chocolate MC, which I didn't know was a person, kidnapped a fan at gunpoint after he was asked for an autograph. Um, Harvard has been instructed and banned from allowing foreign students to study at the campus. And there are 19 countries which are being directed to be on restricted from being able to travel to the United States. And that's a lot of crazy news and a lot of stuff going on. In news that's less crazy, the inks and pencils are done for our new children's book, and it is currently being colored, which means that we probably are nowhere near on track to have it ready for Heroes Con, but we should have it ready for GalaxyCon, and everything in between. So we have a new children's book called Hide and Seek, or at least we have the art for a book called Hide and Seek. And that'll be coming out real soon. So let's go ahead and do our roll for initiative Bible reading. Um, so we are going to get a dang it, I lost one. We're close to lost one. It's down. We are going to roll a rock, paper, scissors. Uh, rock is Old Testament. Scissors is New Testament because it's also a two. So it's like the second one. And paper is the whole Bible because it covers everything. So rock, it's a little bit harder, a little bit firmer, like the Old Testament. Scissors is the New Testament, and paper is the whole Bible. So let's see what we're going to read today. Uh, GalaxyCon Raleigh. Yeah, dude. We should have it set for GalaxyCon Raleigh. Realistically speaking, if the art is done, it'll take me about a week to get the book put together and then submitted, and 2 to 3 weeks to get the books on hand. So yeah, we should be all set. Lyle, who's doing the art for the book, told me that he's planning to be done with the art by this weekend. But I'm on the road and I don't have the ability to actually really put a whole book together currently. Maybe I do. I don't know. But either way. All right, let's see what we're reading. All right, we have the hand, which is the whole Bible. So that means we are rolling three D20s and a D10, and then we're going to subtract four. Here we go. 11, 11, 19, and 10. Wow. 11, 11, 19, and 10. That is a girthy number. That is definitely some New Testament right there. Do do do. 11 plus 11 plus 19 plus 10 equals 51 minus 4 equals 47. So we are in the 47th book of the Bible. Let's see what that is. 47th book. So it's 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. Second Corinthians. Ooh, that's a saucy minx right there. Page 1463. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 chapters in Second Corinthians. So we're just going to roll a d20 and see what we roll between 1 and 13. We rolled a 9. So we are going to be in Second Corinthians chapter 9. All right. Do, do, do. My desk is chaos from all the moving around and stuff. So I'm a little ill prepared for writing. All right, that'll do. All right, Second Corinthians chapter 9. There is no need for me to write to you about this service to the Lord's people, for I know your eagerness to help, and I have been boasting about it to the Macedonians, telling them that since last year you and Achai were able to give, and your enthusiasm has stirred most of them to action. But I am sending the brothers in order that our boasting about you in this matter should not prove hollow, but that you may be ready, as I would, as you would be, as I said you would be. For Macedonians, for if any Macedonians come with me and find you unprepared, we not not to say anything about you would be ashamed of having been so confident. So Paul's just like kind of like passively aggressively shaming them not to suck. Okay. So I thought it was necessary to urge the brothers to visit you in advance and finish the arrangements for the generous gift you had promised. Then it will be ready as a generous gift and not as grudgingly given. Remember this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Big facts. Click. There we go. Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. Each of you should give what is decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion. I believe that full heartedly. That's like literally one of the reasons why my church stopped doing like collection plates and buckets and stuff. We're like, hey, there's boxes on the back if you want to give. Um, we're not gonna keep playing music until you give. Um, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will be abound in every good work. As it is written, they freely scattered their gifts to the poor, their righteousness endures forever. Now he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness. You will be enriched in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion, and through us your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. This service that you perform is not only supplying the needs of the Lord's people, but also overflowing in many expressions of thanks to God. Because of the service by which you have proved yourselves, others will praise God for obedience that accompanies your confession of the gospel of Christ and your generosity in sharing with them everything else. And in your prayers for their hearts, and in your prayers for you, their hearts will go out to you because of the surpassing grace God has given you. Thanks be to God for his indescribable gift. Paul just straight like making the Corinthian church an offer they can't refuse. Like, hey, you promised that you were going to support these people. So I'm sending some guys to make sure you support them real good. Because it'd be a real shame if you didn't support these people the way you know the Lord wants you to support them. You hearing what I'm saying? Be a real shame. Paul's having apostles take people out in the back alleys. I don't like how you tied this week. Didymus, let's see how his kneecaps are feeling. All seriousness, no, I know it's a thing that we're supposed to give generously and we're supposed to give without compulsion. And it's also a thing that if you say you're going to do something, do it. So Paul is exercising his authority as a leader, but also Paul's scary. He gonna break your kneecaps. Um, Before we go, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters um, for being as generous and kind and awesome as you are. Y'all have been a huge blessing overall in every ways. Um, and I'm grateful for y'all. On that note, let me say thank you to our Patreon supporters. Head over here. Do. Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka and Tristan Birch, Dorothy Martin Winston, Michelle Stewart, um, Lynn Turner, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, John Jacobs, Zach Harris, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you for all being the generous supporters that you are, and Paul wouldn't even have to send armed disciples to your house or anything like that. Um, yeah, Kelly says Paul went full Joe Pesci. Yeah, he did. Um, but no, in all seriousness, thank you for your generosity and your encouragement. I get to live in a daily basis of knowing there are people that are supporting and praying and helping make all this possible, and I am beyond thankful for you. So thank you for taking the time to do that and to share, and I hope that y'all have a great night. Thanks so much.